Hello colleagues, this update mainly focuses on the changing conditions for businesses. Starting January 1st in Germany, it will be mandatory to use electronic invoices compliant with the ZUGFeRD and XRechnung standards. This is part of an initiative for the digitization and standardization of accounting processes aimed at increasing transparency, automation, and reducing errors in data processing. The main provisions of the law include the mandatory use of electronic invoices. When working with the government organizations in Germany, the XRechnung standard becomes compulsory. The private sector can choose between ZUGFeRD and other formats, but it is important to follow the structure to avoid errors during processing. Invoice structure unification. All invoices must include structured data such as invoice number, date, details about goods and services, correct tax rates, and total amounts. And advantages of format standardization. XRechnung is used for government contracts as it ensures strict unification. ZUGFeRD is more flexible, supporting both structured data and visual representation in PDF files, make it inconvenient for private companies. Fines and risks. Failure to provide invoices in the required format can lead to payment refusal or fines. Let's move on to the company details management section. Here you can create alternative company details. When generating a document, the active details will populate the necessary fields in the document. Since company invoices will undergo validation for compliance with the required formats, there are certain mandatory fields. These are highlighted in red. If everything is filled out correctly, a check mark will appear. Now let's move on to the next component of our update, measurement units. The law requires that all data in an invoice must be clear and compliant with international Unicode standards. Incorrect measurement units can cause errors during data processing by clients or external validators. The importance of correct selection. Simplifying invoice structures. Use only those units truly needed for your business to minimize error risks. The ZUGFeRD and XRechnung standards require strict use of predefined measurement units according to the International ISO 20794 standard. Unique measurement unit codes enable systems to correctly process invoice data. For example, units like RAM or ZACA are not supported by standards. To avoid validation errors, they should be converted into acceptable units like pieces. Why is this important? Legal compliance. Using unsupported measurement units can result in payment rejection or document return. System compatibility. Clients using automated processing system expect standardized codes only. Error minimization. Including unsupported units prevents issues during invoice creation. According to the current standard, this component includes around 2,000 rows of all possible measurement units that are guaranteed to pass validation in all validators. It's challenging to display 2,000 rows on a single page without causing the interface to freeze. Nevertheless, data will load automatically as you scroll, allowing you to view all necessary units without freezing. The component also includes a search bar where you can enter information from the description, name, or synonyms that you assign to your measurement units for representation in the visual part of the PDF. Let's see how this works in practice. We'll generate an invoice using all old measurement units. For example, from this order, here you see the unit EFDM. It's not supported within the new standards. Therefore, you see a message from the internal validator, including the invalid measurement units were used. You also notice that the buttons for creating documents in ZUGFeRD and XRechnung formats are unavailable. This is to avoid errors during invoice creation. Let's try to change this situation. You can you have a search tool for the measurement units you selected earlier in the component I showed. For example, let's change the invalid unit to pieces. Now you see that no messages from the internal validator is shown. Everything looks fine. We can try generating a ZUGFeRD invoice. We generated a PDF that looks like a regular invoice. For comparison, we'll create a regular PDF from the order. Thus, we have two PDF files, one in the standard format and another in ZUGFeRD format. As you can see, both files look approximately the same. According to the current German legislation, starting January 1st, companies must use ZUGFeRD and XRechnung standards, not only for the sending electronic invoices, but also for processing incoming documents. How will this affect companies? Each company must now ensure that all received electronic invoices comply with the structure and standard requirements. Invoices must include correct data such as tax rate, measurement unit codes, and currency. Most companies use paid external validators like this one to check incoming invoices. These validators analyze the XML document structure, compare data against the standard requirements, and generate a report. If a document doesn't comply with the standard, it can be rejected. Let's try validating the standard PDF we generated from the order. The document failed the validation. If it were an invoice, it would have been rejected. Now let's try validating the ZUGFeRD compliant invoice we created. As you can see, our document fully complies with the German legislation and passes all necessary checks. You also notice the validator shows we have 7 attempts remaining before the free service is discontinued. Let's return to our program. In it, we can generate not only a PDF in ZUGFeRD format, but also XRechnung. XRechnung is an XML document that appears in the document list, but cannot be visually displayed since it consists purely of textual data. It too will pass validation. Why are both standards supported? Different use cases. XRechnung is designed for government entitles and requires strict adherence to XML structure without visual representation. ZUGFeRD, as a hybrid format, contains both structural data for automated processing and the visual PDF representation for human readability. Advantages of flexibility for businesses. The choice of standard allows operations with both private and public sectors. Private clients often prefer ZUGFeRD due to its visual component. For accounting, the ability to process data automatically in both formats, legal necessity. Supporting both standards ensure compliance with customer and legal requirements as part of the update. There have also been made some changes regarding standing orders. Let's generate one. All data from the standing order populates the invoice, which can be generated automatically and sent to the client. Additionally, any text edited in this field will now appear in invoices generated from the standing order. All other invoices will automatically receive supplementary text from the enterprise management settings. When planning automated invoices, it's also necessary to select the format in which the invoice will be generated, since there is no option to preview the final invoice in advance. validation occurs at the order stage rather than during invoice generation. For instance, even though this is an order, it indicates invalid measurement units because these data will later be used to generate the invoice. Let's now move to the price list management component. The only change here is that when you generate price lists, you now see a component that allows you to select valid measurement units in advance. Another technology I'd like to discuss in this update is the caching technology introduced here. Let's return to our project to demonstrate it. The essence of this approach is to save intermediate data about a document in the preview window where PDF documents are generated. This way, when switching its representation, there is no need to reload the data each time, improving performance. For instance, offers and cost estimates within the same section reuse the same data during switching without reloading. This applies to all document types, device sheets, and reports. Most importantly, this includes the image reports as they involve images, making them the heaviest document type. Let's try generating one faster. You see, it doesn't take long to load. Most importantly, when switching within the same type, data doesn't reload a second time, boosting performance. That's all for now.